Terry, a question around talent. We have a number of great companies who we are heading in Canada and BC into a talent crunch again. How do we encourage our companies to look at new graduates? Because it's the age-old, we want somebody with 10 years experience. And with our aging demographic, we're losing that experience as well. What incentives can our companies, what incentives can we encourage for our companies to take on to get those graduates in the door?
Well, we have to find any tools we can. I mean, whatever tools you can use. In France, they're really fighting back very hard. I mean, I could give you lots of criticism of France. I love the country. Fabulous country. But, and you know, they know how to make big companies sustain. Whether it's Alcatel or whether it's, you know, Essilor, the big glasses. I mean, they have lots of large companies. They've honed that down. How to make large companies sustain. They are hopeless at startup companies, but they're fighting back. So they say, and they specify, they say, if it's a small company, less than 50 people, if it's science-oriented, software or high-tech oriented, and again, like they have their little list, if the average age is less than 25, which automatically tells you it's new grads, right? Has to be new grads, otherwise it doesn't work. They say, if that's the case, you don't make the tax submissions that you normally have to make for the company. You keep the cash to help finance it. Now, that's a little odd, but it goes back to the recognition even of the US report that says all the new jobs created in the last 25 years came from startup companies. So they are definitely fighting back. I went to a conference in Aix-en-Provence discussing this very issue and praising them for coming up with some programs that address the problem of giving new grads jobs and encouraging startup companies. And I use the exact US report as evidence that what they're doing is right. So, I mean, all of us involved in trying to grow the economy, grow technology companies, grow startup companies, whatever, we better find ways. I don't care what those ways are. I mean, I mentioned earlier that there are all kinds of people that are professionals that have either recently retired or they're semi-retired or whatever, or they even got laid off. Use them. I use them all the time. If you come to any of the companies that I start, which is typically about 4 or 5 a year, you'll find who's on the board. There'll be somebody that used to run Deloitte's in Ottawa, or there's somebody that used to be a vice president in Toronto. I mean, these are very professional people, great contacts, great knowledge, and make that come to work, and the new grads need it. I mean, most of these new grads, they may be incredibly bright, they may be very hardworking, certainly if they work with me, they better be good, and they better have good communication skills. But you know what? They can't stand up and put on a presentation on a product, typically. It takes them probably 6 months. Beating them up all the time to be able to get used to doing it. But they can do it. They get there pretty damn quick. They learn pretty quick. So you have to teach them how to do these things. Here's something we talked about Virginia Tech. I mean, all the universities, they teach, you know, business practices, or they talk. How many universities give you a course on selling? Like, would selling be important? You know, here's somebody that's got a marketing degree. Can they sell? No, they never did that. For some reason, there's kind of a block that says, well, you know, I don't want to be a salesperson. Are you kidding? Without sales, you die on the vine. Learn how to sell. Learn how to put presentations on. How to craft the presentations. We need to twist a little bit and start being a little bit more humble than we are. It's about selling. That's what it's about. And without selling, you don't have a business.